Hey guys, how's it going? Buster Photo here with another camera review and how-to. Today we have the beautiful Yashica Electro 35 GSN, a beautiful Japanese rangefinder camera. My particular copy seems to be in absolutely excellent condition. I mean, there isn't a scratch, a dent, anything on here. It even has the original lens cap. This is a beautiful copy of this camera. I'm going to go over the basic operation of this camera. I'm going to show you how to load film, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal copy and where I got mine. Let's get into it. Starting from the front, we have the Yashica branding. This little atomic logo that, from my research, it seems that all the fixed lens Yashica cameras during this period had this little atomic logo. The significance, I'm not sure. Maybe it was something in conjunction with like electro futuristic. I'm not sure, but I wasn't able to find exactly why this is on here. If you know, please let me know in the comments. But it is a pretty cool atomic logo. Right here is the GSN, which is the specific version of the Electro 35. These ran from the 60s into the 70s. The GSN or the GN version being the last in the series. The difference between the GSN and the GN is the GSN, the S, stands for satin chrome, which is this beautiful, kind of almost dull, satiny chrome finish. The GN version will just be all black. That's the only distinction between the GSN and the GN. So let's take off our original Yashica lens cap. What does that say? 50. It's a 57 millimeter size. And then we can see the lens. It's a color Yashinon DX. It is a 45 millimeter lens with a maximum 1.7 aperture. Now this lens does say lens made in Japan, but on the bottom it says stamped in Hong Kong. So I'm not sure if they made the lenses in Japan and this body was made in Hong Kong, or maybe they just all say lens made in Japan. But I think some are actually made in Japan, but this one, as you can see, is made in Hong Kong. Continue with the lens. Let's look at some of its features and controls. Let's zoom in a little bit on that and focus. There we go. So this camera essentially has three modes, the most useful being the auto mode, which makes this a fully automatic camera. I'll explain more about that, how that works in just a second. The other mode being B for bulb, and this means the flash for the flash sync. From what I looked up online, I think I saw that it fires the flash at it syncs at 1/30th of a second. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So right here, this can move. You can go to B, you can go to auto, and this right here is for your aperture. Maximum 1.7 all the way to 16, and it even has like a little picture assist right here. A little sun means you should be in these, I guess. That looks like cloudy, maybe the middle. And I'm guessing that's supposed to be a window. So maybe I'm assuming that means indoor, so you have your bigger apertures right there. Right here on the back, you have your focus ring. And this is how you focus the lens. You can see the lens kind of moves up and down a little bit. This right here is the self-timer. You can hear it wind as I turn it. Little clicks right there, and I'll fire that once I get to the top and show you how that works. So moving on to the top, we have the Electro 35 branding. We have a hot shoe here to attach a flash, and this camera is in such good condition it still has the original plastic protector. I won't take it all the way out, I just wanted to show you. It still has a little plastic protector to protect the hot shoe for the flash. I'll explain more about what this is in just a second. Right here you have your film rewind knob. It's really easy to use. You just lift this part up right here, and that lets you pull up on it. And that is how you open the back door. And I'll show you that once we get to the back. And it's also how you would rewind your film when you're done. Moving back to the front, we have your film speed. This you changed corresponding with the kind of film you might use inside the camera. So it looks like we have 25 all the way to 1,000. So pretty broad range of available films that you'll be able to use with this camera. Right here we have the shutter lock and the shutter fire button. If it's in the L for lock, you cannot press the shutter button. So maybe you want to store the camera for a little bit. You press that, you put it in L, lock it up, and then you wouldn't be able to fire the shutter. So let's move that back to the regular operating position, which is just, it's not really pointing to anything, it's just pointing to the left. Right here you have your frame counter window. It shows you what frame you're at, whether you're beginning or in the middle or at the end of your roll of film. And this right here is a film advance lever. You advance it forward. Oh, it looks like I already advanced it. But you would advance it to advance the film. Now, since we, let me zoom back out. Since we engage the self-timer, when I fire this shutter button, it should set off the self-timer. And there you go. Let's see, that's about, let's say 5 seconds maybe? Maybe 10. I should have, oh yeah, it feels like around 5 seconds, which is just enough time to run back to your group of friends. Now, let's talk about this right here, because this works in conjunction with the auto setting I showed you earlier. So, this camera is fully auto. It's essentially aperture priority. You select the aperture, the camera selects everything else for you, or in this case, it would just be the shutter speed. And this helps you in letting you know if you're at the very end of the speed or at the very high end. So let's see if it lights up for us. So okay, so that's over. When the red one lights up to signify over, that means your camera is going to fire at 1/500th of a second or faster, which is the maximum shutter speed of this camera. Now let's see if we can get the slow one to turn on. So let's move the aperture to a smaller one. Oh, see, it's slow. So slow means that this is going to fire at 1/30th of a second or longer. I think I looked up, this camera can fire up to 3 minutes. The shutter can stay open up to 3 minutes. So if you see that slow light come on, you definitely want to put it on a tripod or find something to lean on, because it's going to be a really, really slow shutter speed. Now, let's move on to the back. The back, pretty simple, not much going on here. You have a battery check button, which works with your frame counter window. When you press the battery check button, you see a little light in your frame counter window. That's really nice, bright, and strong. That says that we have some good batteries in the camera. Now, this is your viewfinder. Now, the way this camera works, I've drawn up a really accurate representation of what's going on inside the camera. So when you look in the camera, these little lines you see, it's what's helping you frame your image. And as you turn the focus ring, this will move to correct for the distance that you're focusing. So you turn the focus ring, you can see this little frame kind of move down and up, and that helps to correct for the difference in distance that your subject may be in. Now this here in the middle is what you use to focus a camera. Because it's a range finder, so essentially what it does, it kind of produces a ghost image, and then when you line the images up, that's telling you that the camera is in focus. And you can go past it or before it, but once you line up the images, that's pretty much letting you know that your camera is in focus. So let's move on to the bottom of the camera. Pretty simple down here. We have a battery door that contains a battery, a little tripod threading mount right here, and then the film release. That's for when you're done, when you finish your roll of film, you press that button, and that'll allow the film to be rewound, so you can rewind your film. And that's what that button is for. So yeah, let me open up the back door and show you how you load film into this camera. Alright, so let's load some film into this beautiful camera. So we got some gold 200 that we use here. So to open up the film door, you lift that tab up, you bring that up, and then you pretty much just pull on that, and it'll pop open the back of the film door. So to load film, it's really easy. You take your film, make sure this is in the upright position to allow your film cartridge to be able to enter really easily. And then there's some little slots right here. Let's see if I can get you a better look. See, there's some little slots in this part of the back of the camera. So what you want to do is to stick the end of your film into one of those slots, And you can see it's kind of engaged right there. Let's see if that's enough. I usually turn that, and that looks like it's enough. Let's fire that. Let's see. Yeah, that's engaged. So at that point, I usually just close the door. Make sure you close this down. And then I usually just, let's zoom in there. I usually just advance it until you get to 1. So that was S for start. It's usually two frames to get to 1. Oh, sorry. That's 2. And then that's 3. And then you see there's a 1 right there. And then at that point, you're pretty much, into your film. Did I do 3 or 2? It's 2. Just do 2. And then on the third one, that should be your first exposure. And yeah, that's pretty much how you load the film. So let me show you how to unload the film. Let's say you've been firing all day, you've been having a grand old time, and now you're ready to empty your film. So you press this button right here. That releases, like, I guess what's locking the film in place, and then you can rewind your film. Now, the same way we open the door, but instead of lifting it up, we turn. And your film, you can hear it going, and then let's see if we hear it release. There, right there, I think it released. Now, normally I would spin this all the way until you're absolutely certain that your film is completely returned. But since this is my test roll of film, I don't like to do it all the way because I like to use it for other demonstrative purposes. So, I mean, I stopped it perfectly. So then you would open that, and then you would take out your film, and obviously this wouldn't be showing, it'd be completely rewound. And that's it. And that's how you load and unload film in the Electro 35. So a little bit about my personal copy. I got this on eBay for 25 bucks. It was listed as non-operating. The guy said he found it at an estate sale. But the condition looks so immaculate that I'm like, it's got to be something simple for why this isn't working. And then I put the proper batteries inside, and the camera wouldn't work. The automatic function wouldn't work. No lights would come on. The battery check wouldn't come on. So there was definitely an issue, and I was like, oh boy, I hope it's not something internal. What ended up being the problem is that on the back of this film door, let's see if I can open this, I can show you. On the back of this film door, and it was such a simple fix. I was so proud of myself for figuring it out. If I can get it to come out. Oh boy. Oh, well, guess it's not coming out for this video. But the back of the film door, oh man, how can I explain this without opening this? The back of the film door, it was a little circle, and it had a little cross section. And this cross section, it kind of stuck down away from the door, and it would make contact with the internal part of the camera to complete the circuit with the battery. So for whatever reason, on the back of this battery door, I keep saying film door, the back of this battery door, these little things had completely broken off. So it wasn't closing, it wasn't allowing the circuit to close with the battery in there. So all I did is I stuck a little piece of aluminum in there, and I kind of made it stick down into the camera a little bit, and I closed it up, and it worked. I mean, good as new. So, I mean, I checked the battery light came on, and it was good as new. So, just a little bit of something about my personal copy. I love this camera. I paid 25 bucks for it. That's usually about the prices these are going for. I wouldn't spend anywhere near like $100 for this camera. They're super cheap. They're plenty to be found, but I would suggest getting the newest or the last version if you're looking for Electro 35, which would be the GSN for the chrome one, or the GN for the all black one. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Yashica Electro 35. Please please subscribe. I'm desperately trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate your help. I don't make that many videos, so it's not like I'm gonna blow up your feed, but I do appreciate the help from the other film enthusiast community. Alright guys, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See you later.